spirit. It's everywhere. Are we able to communicate with them? What can they teach us? Welcome to School Through Spirit. Host Diet Renee is a certified psychic medium and master teacher of psychic and mediumship development through LWISSD. Diet was born knowing spirit and now is here to help you better understand the spirit world. Now, your host of School Through Spirit, Diet Renee.
Hey, good Monday morning, everybody. This is Diet Renee here on School Through Spirit, WLTKDB.com. Let's Talk Digital Radio. God, I think I kind of flipped that all over the place. School Through Spirit is a show that I explore different people's lives, their journeys with spirit, or just how spirit has really impacted them. Now, each week I do have a discussion based on oh my God, I'm getting squirrel moments here, guys. I do have a discussion based on whatever spirit gives me, and then I turn around and have my guest. And my guest this week is Miss Michelle Prentiss. Oh my God, guys, I started doing these twinkly light things. You're gonna have to let me know how they look, because I totally, completely failed to put them on today. There we go. Twinkly lights on. Haha, I'm almost like I woke up or something. Today's week guest is Michelle Prentiss. Oh my God, you're gonna love Michelle. Michelle is a two-time astrologer. Two-time astrologer. Two-time. Oh my God, I got this all messed up. She's a second-generation astrologer. She is an author. This lady's list goes on and on and on. She's just a rock star. You know, when I've talked about somebody doing my astrological chart, it is her. And I'll tell you what, completely, totally, and thoroughly blew me out of the park on that. With what she does. Oh my God, just it's crazy, amazing what this lady does and what she's capable. Let me just read her. Let me read her bio too here for a second. It says she's a second generation astrologer. She began her journey of learning the art and science of astrology, as well as many other forms of divination, under her mother's guidance for over 40 years ago. Her general focus is holistic wellness, astrology combined with multimodality intuitive guidance that synthesizes astrological information with intuition, divination, and energy work. The intention is to facilitate as an experience that uplifts, guides, and supports her client's individual soul's journey. Michelle has held an astrological practice for over 25 years and is a member of the International Society of Astronomical Research and the Organization for Professional Astrologers. In addition, Michelle is also attuned to Reiki healing, certified integrative nutritional health coach, and she currently offers one-on-one readings with astrological learning workshops and ceremonies and retreats. Oh my God. The lady is just a rock star. And not only that, she's going to be on here regularly, guys. She is going to be on here regularly. And it's really cool because this week, you want to know what's happening? This week, this is what Michelle and I planned. God, I'm trying to find the show on here someplace. I think that's not it. That's last week's, because I want to share as always. I'm trying to share the show, and for the life of me, I can't find it. Sure, it's there someplace. But here it is. But literally this week, Michelle wanted to give us a special treat. First time on, and I don't know if we'll continue to do this or not, or what's going on. But this week, two devoted listeners, two ladies that have been here with me for at least one, if not the full 2 years that I've been on the show here. There's not many weeks that they don't show up, and one of them's at work. So blows my mind. So with that being said, I just want to let you know we have got two people that hey, Miss Brenda came in. Hey, good morning, Miss Karen. Good morning, Pamela. But good morning, Miss Jody. But two devoted listeners that I picked, and I did pick because I picked two that have been here since, just don't miss shows, are getting their charts done today. I mean, not the full, oh my God, hour-long reading, you know what I mean? But a really nice, here you go type of thing. And Michelle is just a rock star for this. And we are looking at possibly doing more of this. So I'll tell you what, the more you guys share this, the more you guys give me hearts, the more you come and like my page, the more you do the more chances you have to be that person that gets picked. Okay. So I really want you to think about that, guys. The more you share, sharing is caring. Please take that moment to do that and get that out. Um, and speaking of which, while we're doing this, I'm gonna start sharing everything anywhere because you know what? You know, I'm always trying to do this. Trying to share this everywhere I can so that 'cause actually when I started doing this, people are like, "Oh my God, I love the fact that you're sharing this on different platforms, different places." And I'm like, "Oh my God, if you want me to keep doing it, let me know." And that's what I've been doing is just sharing it all over the place. So I'm going to share it to some groups. Hey, you guys, if you want, please share it into groups. Put it into groups. I know I have one wonderful viewer out there that puts it into Instagram because guess what? I haven't figured out how to do the Instagram thing yet, have I? Somebody out there has got to teach me, by the way, how to do this, how to get this into Instagram as a live run so that it can keep going out there. Right now, I'm going to put in all the other places. But speaking of which, the topic this week, I really kind of struggled with this one this week because I was like, oh my God, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And my topic this week, I hate to admit it, is motivation, guys. It's motivation. Ugh, right? I mean, what a topic to talk about. What a sucky topic. You know what I mean? What a sucky topic. I don't mean it like it's a bad thing, but my motivation lately has really sucked. It has really just been down. Hey, good morning, Miss Joy. Um, my motivation has just really been blah, blah. And it's weird because I should be like all over the place. I should be like going, oh my God, I'm going to do this. Oh my God. Because I have got a ton of things in the fire. I got irons in the fire like you wouldn't believe, and more keep getting thrown into it that so much that I had to cancel some things. I actually had to cancel some things and put them out until next year. And I'm with that being said, I just have to let you know the retreat that I have been like going, oh my God, me and Miss Kelly, Rickle, we're going to do. I actually had to put it on hold until next year because I've just got so many irons in the fire. And I am like, I can't do it right now. I just can't do it right now. And I really thought about that, and I'm like, and Spirit has asked me to do more and more and more, and I'm like, okay, okay, where, when, where do you want me to have the time? And I'll tell you what, because motivation is a hard one. Motivation really is a hard, um, really just a really hard place to be. It's a hard place to go. How do you get your stuff going? And I'm not talking about like just first thing in the morning. I'm not talking about, because I do great first thing in the morning. I get up and I go boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? It's like, um, let's get this butt moving. And I think I'm pretty good at that. I think I'm pretty good at getting up in the morning. I mean, I can clean the house like no other. And that motivation is good morning, Miss Stephanie. Stephanie knows what I'm talking about because I told her yesterday, I said, oh my God, Stephanie, I can't seem to do this anymore. Um, hey, anybody, if you guys have groups you want to share this to, please share it. Rob show last week, 60 shares, guys, 60 shares. So feel free to put this in any group you have or on your own site. But me getting motivation lately has just been really, really horrible. Really, really, really horrible is what it's been. And it's not that I don't want to do a lot of stuff because guys, I want to rock it like no other. I feel like I have got just a million things that I should be doing, I can be doing, I want to be doing. You name it, it's there. And I'll tell you what, I wish it was more and more and more. Because I do know what my life trajectory is. I do know what path I'm on. I do know um which way I want to go. You know what I mean? It's all of that, and I get that. But it's those small things. It is. Oh my God, you must be near. I'll tell you what. Good morning, Miss Kathy. Um, you lost your motivation 20 years ago, Kathy. I'll come sit with you. We'll have coffee and talk about it. Oh wait, I don't drink coffee anymore. How about tea? Or we'll have a shake. We'll sit down and have a shake together. And that's health shakes, guys. Just so you know. Um, So I do for myself. I'll tell you what, just in this last week, this is what's happened. And maybe this is why I'm going, oh my God, how can I do this? So in the last week, okay, I have the radio show. Good morning, Miss Sherry. I have the radio show, which, oh my God, I love the show. I love you guys. You guys are flipping amazing. I love you guys to death. And I've really, this has become a huge passion. I've been told by Spirit that I need to put more classes out there. I need to get the beginners and the intermediate and all that going. I've got 2 different stores saying, "Hey, come teach. Give me some dates." I'm like, "Okay, I can do that," but I still haven't gotten that done. I just started a soul coaching program so that I can become a soul coach, which it's just so near and dear to my heart. I mean, so dear to me. You don't even know how I combining my knowledge with readings and everything else. I mean, I'm already doing it, so why not get certified in it? So, you know what? I'm doing the soul coaching, which, oh my God, I barely got it turned on. You know what I mean? Um, me and Rob, which you guys know Rob, he was on last week. I and our manager got together about talking about doing a tour across the United States, which, oh my God, is huge. It's awesome. And starting to put that together. So they added that. And then they're saying, but you need to write all 3 books, not 1, but 3 books. I'm like, I haven't even got the first one started yet. And then there's 2 retreats, not to mention all the events. And instead of going, go, 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 let's get this done. My body, and I don't know if this happens to all of you guys, my body put the brakes on. It went, no more, stop, stop, stop. And I'm sitting back feeling guilty because, and don't mention, I got trans class going on too. I know I'm doing trans too. Um, Plus my job with Lisa and everything else. But anyway, I put the brakes on. And instead of getting more motivation, which normally I am a person that says, come on, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. Instead of doing that, I did the opposite. And I went, no more, stop. I put the brakes on and I went, I can't do this. I can't get off the couch. I can't get motivated. I didn't know what to do. So I literally sat back yesterday, and this is what I did because I recognized that my motivation, I literally recognized one, something had to come off the table. And I took the retreat off. I literally took the retreat with me and Kelly off the table, and I went, "Can we just do it next year? Can we do it next year when my new life, my new everything kinda gets a better balance, when I can start to put me back together a little bit easier, when I can figure out how to get up and do it all." Okay? Which I will. I mean, I'm pretty resourceful, I'll get this. I just need a minute to get balanced before I do this. And she was like, Kelly was amazing. She's like, "Yeah, let's just put it back. You know what? We'll relook at it again, maybe at the end of the year, and go for like a full year development of a retreat." I'm like, "That's awesome. Let's do it that way," because I'm still going to have the retreat for my advanced students that is going to be on location someplace in this beautiful country, and I don't even know where I'm going to pick yet. I mean, I could be going to Sedona for all I know. I don't know, but I still have that retreat in the works also. So I went, okay, let's sit back. And then I realized that, you know what? I have no motivation. I I literally woke up yesterday. I was going to start doing the class, jump back into it. And I was like, I can watch videos, I can do this. And then I seen I actually had to like put work in yesterday. I went, oh, and I just turned off the computer. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I sat down and I went, where is this motivation? Where did my motivation go? Like, where did my oomph get up and go? And how do I get it back? How do I get this back? And I'll tell you what, it's been a good one for me to sit back and go, wait a second, what am I going to do? And I think it came at really a beautiful, beautiful time for me to look at that because I'll tell you what, the night before Saturday night, and it was a prelude to what I was going to experience yesterday, and I didn't even realize this was happening. But literally what happened was I got online to talk to who now I think is gonna become a really beautiful dear friend. I've been feeling the exact same way. No, exactly, Sherry. No, no kidding. It's been horrible. But I talked to a gentleman on Saturday night, and I think I'm not gonna mention his name yet because he's gonna be on the show. You're all gonna meet him, but not for a while. Um, and we were supposed to get on and just talk for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, just for me to get a story, get a vibe for him, kind of, excuse me, introduce each other to ourselves. Good morning. Yeah, thank you, Brenda. Thank you. Yeah. Um, and what ended up happening is we talked for over 2 hours. Over 2 hours. Like we just talked and talked and talked. He introduced me to his wife through Zoom. Me and her became friends on Facebook also. I mean, just a lot of like kindred spirit type feeling, like, oh my God, where have you been? Oh my God, I can't believe this is the first time we talked. And, I even said, oh, I hope I talk to you again. He's like, are you kidding me? Like, you were my new friend. Like, oh my God, he didn't expect the friendship that, what we might be developing, just this beautiful friendship that might be developing, which is awesome. But it was awesome because as we were talking, we were actually talking about last week's topics, which were fears. And, I wasn't looking for it, I wasn't inquiring, I wasn't hoping, I had no clue, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he goes, "What's your number 1 fear?" Can you guys guess what I said? Can you guess? And I said, "Snakes." Come on, guys, you know what snakes. Number 1 fear, snakes. You know what? If I lived in the ocean, it would or if I lived in Florida, it would be sharks, but probably with snakes, but snakes. Snakes is my number 1 fear. And, yeah, he had some beautiful knowledge with that, and it made sense to me. It made so much sense to me because he brought up medical. He's like, "You do realize the snake is that?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's the caduceus. The snakes is on the caduceus," and I don't know if you know what a caduceus is, but on the medical professional staff with the wings, it's got a snake going up. And I'm like, "Yeah, I completely felt." And he's like, "There's something about that you're blocking that you don't want into your life, you don't want back in your life." I'm like, "Well, I was a nurse for 21 years, really didn't wanna be a nurse, did the job anyway, really did not like it the whole time I did it." I mean, yeah, I got up, I went to work, and I did probably 60, 70 hours a week at it, but it really was just a job. It was just a job, and it wasn't not that I didn't do it well, I didn't care for it. I just really didn't care for it at any level. Um, and he's like, "Well, there you go. How's your fear been with it?" I'm like, and I thought about it. I thought, wow, you know what? I had a moderate fear, moderate, like, oh, well, I mean, I could see a snake and no big deal. But I can remember going into the nursing field just in class and the feeling of that getting worse and worse. And that fear of snakes was worse and worse and growing to where like full blown into nursing. Oh my God, even to look at a picture of snake was like, and I had to get off the screen and had to get off my phone. I couldn't stand it. It was just detrimental to me. And the and it's weird because as I've gotten out of nursing, I've been walking away, the fear is getting less. I mean, come on, guys, you watched me on a show with a snake in January. I didn't run. I mean, I didn't even scream. Did I do good? Probably not by anybody's standards, but by mine, I thought I did very well. And I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be holding them anytime soon, but going into that, snakes are also a symbolization of transitions. So I went, "Okay, that makes sense." Well, then he goes, once we talked about all of that, he looked at me and he goes, "What's your next biggest fear?" And I went, "Oh, that one's hard." He's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Don't wanna be seen." I struggle with being seen, guys. I struggle with it. And I know you guys are looking at me like, "Really?" And I told him, I said, all my life, I've been told I'm a person just stands out in a crowd. I stand out in a crowd. Um, Anybody that knows me from a child, I've really been a huge attention seeker with inside not feeling like I'm a huge attention seeker. So I don't know how you put that in one body, but that's who I've been. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, Sherry, I lost it. You've done great when the snake said, "Hey." Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate that. But being that person, my life, and anybody that knows my life story, it's had a lot of I don't want to say darkness because to me it's not dark anymore. To me, it's like, oh my God, my life is freaking amazing and every part of it is like awesome and it's made me me. And oh my God, I wouldn't give up a moment of my life, not the good, the bad, or the ugly. But because of my life, it took me a long time to get to that point. It took me a long time to look at all these things that happened to me. And those types of things put you in a position that you don't want to be seen. I mean, come on, guys. For 12 years, I was in an abusive relationship. I was getting beat. I was getting cheated on. I was getting lied to. I was, everything. I mean, anything you think about in an abusive relationship, that was me. And the last thing you want people to do is see you. You don't want to show up and say, "Hey, it's me. I'm the dumbass getting this done to me," because you realize it's happening, you know it's happening, but you don't know how to stop it and you believe it's all your fault, but you still don't want you're embarrassed. And that's been my life, pretty much my whole life. My whole life has been, please don't look at me because I don't want to see you to see who I am. I don't want you to see how maybe dirty I am or worthless I am or whatever it is that I am because of things that have happened in my life. So it's a very valid fear. Now I want to tell you, I don't feel that way about myself anymore. So don't feel bad for me because I don't. I look at my life now and I'm like, "Oh my God, because of all these incredible things that have happened, I am worth it. I'm amazing. I'm all of that. And I'm here to help others because I can understand what they've gone through. I get it. I know. And I know how to get to that place of, "Oh my God, you're okay. And you're incredible because of it." Oh, it is hard to find your true self. Oh, wow, Sherry, that's awesome. But to be seen is another big step for me. It's another big step. And he said, because you have that fear, it's also ingrained to you because you will be in the limelight. And it's a prelude to that. And I went, wow, that's huge. Wow. And I thought I already am being seen. I'm on the radio show. I'm great. Everybody sees me. You see me every week, right? And he went, "No, no, 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 no. There'll be more." And I went, "Okay, okay. Well, I can accept that. I can accept that because if that's where my life is supposed to be, that's where my life is going to be. And I'm good with that." Oh, Don Marie. Oh my God. Are you in my head? No, Dawn, I'm not. But you know what? Spirit gives me the topics for a reason, right? They give me the topics. Um, but all of these things, but getting back to that conversation and what it had to do with motivation is for a little bit after we got through all that, and it was like, wow, I've been processing a lot through all this. And it made me think it's like, not only is he bringing this up, but I've had another friend working on me energetically to release a lot of energy blocks from earlier on in my life and past lives and past generations. And a lot of that's been coming up lately, which has been putting in that whole, I don't know how to get motivated. All I'm doing is releasing anger and fears and all this stuff. And really, I want to bitch slap the world. And internally, that's how I want to feel. But on the outside, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to do that. But it's also been part of that contribution of putting the brakes on. Just stop. I want to get off. I don't want to get off the train. I just want, I want the Hogwarts train to slow down and stop and go, just let's sit here for a minute. Just let's sit here for a minute. And it was incredible because after he had gotten done speaking about these things, it was a short time later, he literally was talking about something else. And of course my mind had gone off on some track for a few moments. And I heard Spirit say, "Let us help you." And then right after that, they said that to me, and it hit me right here. It hit me right in the gut, this part of this gut. It hit me here. And right after they said that to me, he literally went, and Spirit's always there to help us. And that feeling went from here into my heart and it came up through my throat. And I fought back the tears. I fought back the tears because I was like, oh my God, did the Holy Spirit just come down and engulf me with, I am not alone in this. I'm not alone in this. I'm not alone in this journey. I'm not alone in any of this. And you know what? Everything is happening around me for a reason. Everything is there for a reason. And I went to bed that night. I went to bed Saturday night going, great. Well, I'm screaming help, help, because I don't know how to get back on the track. I don't know how to get back on the track. And yesterday came in and I literally woke up and thought, oh, I'm going to get into this class and start into it and went, oh, I can't do this. And I just shut it down. And went, I can't do this. I don't know where my motivation has gone. I don't know. And I'm sure more of you are feeling this. Like, where did my motivation go? And I sat with that literally all day. I sat with that and my grandbabies all day long. And then when I went to bed last night, I heard tomorrow's a new day and take it one step at a time, one thing at a time. And I thought, I can do that. I can do that. All I gotta do is wake up then. We're good. All I gotta do is wake up. And I thought, you know what? I got this list, and my list is on sticky notes, guys. It's but I can like a whole lot on sticky notes. It goes on, and I got them everywhere. All these to do things too. And I thought I can do this one thing at a time. I can do this. There's no shame in that game. I can easily do that and find more than enough time because I've got a lot of time in my day. But all I have to do is get through today. And I thought, you know what? Today I have the show. We could talk about what do you want? Oh, they want me to talk about motivation. Great. That's what we're going to talk about today. And from there, I've got chiropractor with the grandbabies, and then I've got a call with Lisa for, the school in all the master teachers. And then I got to teach a class. And somewhere there, I am going to get these dates off to these stores that say, hey, we want to bring you in and get the write-ups off to them. So I know that can be checked off on my list. And then I'm gonna see all the little tiny things I can get done today, which I know I can get done. And then tonight when I go to sleep, I'm gonna go, you know what? Tomorrow's another day. And I'm gonna say, Spirit, tomorrow's more. Can you help me? Can you help me find the time? Can you help me find the energy? Can you help me find the motivation? Can you help me find the passion to go forward? And I know they're gonna be there. I know they're gonna be there. I know they're gonna rock it like no other, and it's gonna be awesome. And it's how we take every day, isn't it? It's just how we take every single day and every moment. Because motivation doesn't come when you take everything and throw it into the pot. That's not how motivation happens. Because I tried it. I tried it. I literally took if I took all these notes and I throw them into one pot and throw them together, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop because I'm gonna go, this is too much for any person to do. This is too much. And my motivation is going to go right out the window. So I have to literally take it one step at a time. I have to take it one thing at a time. You know, Terry, classes right off the top. Kim, classes number two. Called Walt Disney World. Yes, that's one of the things I have to do. Number three. Um, it's just 1, 2, 3, getting things done. Send my calendar links and information to Todd, the my producer and web designer. Boom, get that off the thing. All these piddly little things that aren't piddly, they're huge, getting them off, but one thing at a time. One at a time. I can do one at a time. Can you do that? Because I'll tell you what, looking at your day from a hindsight, and this is one thing that also motivates me, guys, gets my motivation going. And I found this trick back when I was living in Hayward and I had the horses and the donkey and hay and working. And oh my God, I used to have so much to do and helping getting ready for spring yard and tons of stuff that's got to be done in the Hayward world when you're coming out of winter. And I used to sit there and try in the morning and think about all the million things I had to do, the million of things I had to do. I mean, a day in my life in Hayward before winter got over was wake up, first I had to crush the ice of the hay trough if it got too cold that night. And then I had to bring the hose up from the basement because I couldn't leave the hose outside. I had to attach it to the outside well, get that hooked in, get that pumping, because trust me, that took a lot in the wintertime to get that water pumped up from the ground, like 20 feet down below, get the water going to fill that up. And if that wasn't running, I had to shovel fresh snow into the water tank so that the heater could actually melt it. Then I had to get the hay into the horses, clean up horse shit, brush out the horses, blah, 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 grain the horses, get back in, get ready, blah, 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 get to my job. And don't mention the 18 inches of snow that just happened, you know? And it was a crazy experience. And when I would sit there in the morning and think, oh my God, there's too much to do, I would sit there and go, I'm not going to do it. Instead, I'd make a list of the stuff I had to do the next day. Just make a list, and I put the list almost to bed. Like, put it over here, put it to bed. And, sorry. Um, I used to put that list over here to bed, okay? And I go to sleep, forget about it, and I just forget about that list. And I'd wake up the morning because I just naturally knew what I had to do. I naturally knew what I had to do. And I'd wake up and I'd start my day. I'd start my day and I'd go through this list. I'd go, good morning, Miss Deb. I would go through this list. Oh, Deb, I'm sorry, I need to reschedule with you. I'm so sorry. Um, but I go through my list in my head. And of course, I'd add on a million other things that had to be done. And they would just add and add and add. And until literally the end of the day came. And that's when I would look at my list and I'd check off all the things I did. And then I'd realize all the extra things I did that I didn't realize I even had to do. And sometimes I'd even go as much as to put everything on Facebook, like this post of everything I accomplished in a day. And it always blew me away that other people would post, "Oh my God, I need your motivation. I need your energy. I don't know how you got all that done." And I'd be like, and I sat around and I chat with my mom for quite a while, and I sat on the phone for a while, and I did this and I did that, and I did a whole lot of things I didn't even add into there. And it was incredible how that worked. So for myself, I like to make my lists. And that's something I've been failing at. I've been making sticky notes, and sticky notes get a little overwhelming. And I need to go back to an old fashioned list, just writing that list and saying, "Oh my God, here's my list. Here we go." And then starting my day. And as I go through my day, just checking off my list, done, 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 because that helps me get to my motivation, doesn't it? That helps me to go, I can do this. I can move forward. I can release this. I can release those blocks that stop me. And it's pretty amazing how that works. It's just incredibly amazing how that works, you know? Um, so I hope you understand that. I hope today you're able to get some motivation. I hope that I'm not the only one that says, "Oh my God, there's so much to do and I can't figure out how I'm going to get it done." And I'm hoping that you can find to take one step in front of the other to get to where you need to be until you know it's all done. Okay? So with that being said, we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to come back and talk for a little bit more until Miss Michelle shows up. This is Jet Renee here on School Through Spirit. Good morning, Miss Kelly. WLTKDB.com. I'll be back in a few.
Looking to launch your new masterpiece? Then try something new with Moonbow Publishing and Production. At Moonbow, we have a strong desire to serve authors in a powerful and meaningful way. After all, you poured your heart and soul into your writing, and we fully understand and respect that. Remember this: you will own the copyright to your work. You will have the final say on your work before being published. Even after all of that, we've saved the best for last. We won't take a percentage sold. Nope, not a penny. Excited about MoonbowPublications.com yet? We thought so. Take advantage of our company's services like book editing, formatting, and covers, publishing, and photography. Moonbow Publishing and Productions has everything you are looking for in a company. Remember, we will not keep any commissions. We are a boutique publishing company focusing on spiritual, health and wellness, and personal growth genres. Moonbow Publications and Productions, a new kind of publishing company.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm back here. I'm School Through Spirit with Diet Renee on WLTKDB. Michelle posted that she'll be here in a moment, so I'm just going to talk about the station for a minute, okay, until she gets here. Um, just to talk about the station a little bit. Right now, we're kind of putting a few things on hold. We're still following with the journey of the station. We're all still here. If you do want to jump in and create a new show, please reach out to Todd. It's WLTKDB.com. He is more than willing to help and say, "Hi, how you doing?" and jump in and see what he can do to help and create that show for you. Although Todd is back into school now, he's always brilliant. He's always learning new things, always doing new things, and it's pretty amazing what he does there. So that's a huge one. I want you to know, keep sharing, guys. Keep sharing. I'm trying to think of all the different places I could possibly put this show. And I'll tell you, anybody that knows how to get this into Instagram, please let me know, because I have a lady that does it for me and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm thinking a show would be amazing. You should do a show, Deb. You should do it because you have got you got so much. I'll tell you what. And now that you put that in my ear, Deb, you're done. just so you know, everybody that puts the "I should do a show" in my ear ends up doing a show. It's pretty incredible. Um, but yeah, doing the shows is amazing. Um, and it's just incredible how this works because I'll tell you what, people don't realize how much how much you can really do with a show, which you can really do, how many people you can reach. It's incredible what you can do, okay? With this. With my show alone, it's like y- I talk for however long today, and it's pretty awesome. I sit there and I talk and talk and talk. Just tell Todd that Diet sent you and get a discount on your first month. Just tell Todd that there you go. Did you hear that? Todd just offered that. Okay. So if you want you want your own show, go to WLTKDB.com and let him know I sent you, that you heard on my show, or I said, hey, I need you to do this, and see what happens. See what happens from there. Okay. Because he will give you the discount. He will, trust me. Um, oh my God, guys, I'm just having such issues today. I'm having issues. With that being said, let's bring in Michelle because I'm having issues. Hi, Michelle.
Good
I'm
morning.
trying to get this on Instagram like you wouldn't believe, and I can't for the life of me, and I'm fighting with it. You know?
Well, yeah, I had to download a new web browser to get on, so I apologize for my
Oh,
lateness.
you're good. You're good. Don't worry. It's okay. I should have probably told you. I think it's Google. Ugh. I
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just assume everybody does Google. It's my issue.
it's fine. I got
You
motivated.
you got motivated. You're doing great then, because 'cause you're doing better than I am.
Yeah, it's a good topic, motivation.
It is, and I've been struggling with it lately. I have been really struggling, but like I was telling everybody, it's like because I'm doing like, oh my God, all this going on and trying to put it all in the same, I want to say cauldron. I want to put it in the same, I'm not witch or Wiccan, but I need to put a cauldron here, throw all my notes in there and just pick one out a day that I'm gonna do, versus all at once. All at once.
Yeah.
But then you predicted what my life was gonna do. So there you go. I'm gonna blame you, Michelle.
Not blame. The stars incline, they do not compel. That's there's the inclination towards things. But I love the idea of actually, asking spirit or asking, your guides or asking your higher self, hey, wait a second, maybe I'm biting off too much.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's part of living an authentically soulful life is realizing that sometimes we are doing too much
Mhm.
and we can slow down at any given time based on what's happening and how we're feeling. So if you're lacking motivation, sometimes it might be that you're overextending yourself in the moment, And because all those things are percolating in your cauldron, they
Don't
might
ask why I'm using cauldron today, but there you go.
they might not be ready yet. Maybe maybe you need to sit back and just like, okay, like you said earlier, I was listening in on the retreat, like that's not working for now. I
Yeah.
understand that fully. I feel like we've all had, years now of not having things happen the way we wanted them to, and having all of our plans and our focuses and things get pushed into another space. But in that way, when we're living a soulful life, maybe, it's all for our own higher good, it's all for our own evolution. And if we look at it like that, like, oh, I can't do this now, later's going to be better, that's cool, right?
Mhm.
Okay, we're flowing with life. We're flowing with the energy that we have right now. That's how I'm trying to live my life now.
I think it's a great way to do it, because I know for myself when, the retreat started to feel like it was too much, like, oh my God, to me, things should be just when they happen, they happen beautifully. You don't have to you still put a ton of work in it, but it doesn't feel like a ton of work. You know what I mean? It's just coming beautiful. It's natural. It's just happening. Life is great. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's there. And you're like, okay, I'm nervous for 5 minutes and we're going to jump into this. But as soon as something started to feel like, oh no, this just it's too heavy, it's too much. I have to walk away and say, edit, you know what I mean, and do it that way. Because I have to be um genuine to myself in that aspect, genuine to myself.
Yeah.
So which I
And it
think is
depends on
beautiful.
what it is, you know. I mean, there are times in our lives where we don't want to, get up and take the kids to school, but we know we have to anyway. But it
I
depends on.
don't. I play hooky. Everybody want to play hooky? Go to bed.
Yeah, our mom used to give us a mental health day
Yeah,
sometimes, so that's good.
I love that. So let's tell everybody who you are. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I mean, you and me could chat all day long, but that's not going to tell anybody who you are.
Okay, so I am an astrologer, an intuitive reader as well. Second generation, meaning that my mother was a professional astrologer and a reader, and so I have been doing this almost my whole life, reading the archetypal language of astrology, the energy as the meaningful astronomy. The energy is described by the meaning of the planets and their relationship to our lives on Earth. I'm an author. I have a podcast as well called the Persephone Program, and my website is thepersephoneprogram.com. I've done a lot of classes on astrology. I've done classes on tarot, and I'm really interested in the idea of the enchanted cosmos, the ensouled world, and the idea that we are all part of that. So that magic, that spirit may not be like exactly, the same as other people, but the idea here is that we live in this magical universe that is filled with living energy and interacting with it. And when we need help, you ask for spirit. I think the world is there to, if you want to, if you've got eyes to see and ears to hear, to speak back to you. So just living in connection with that idea of an ensouled world where there is, lots and lots of communication and magic. That's the space that I live in.
I love that space. I personally love that space. You know what I mean? Because like I talk to you, it's like the one day it's like, oh, I'm in Las Vegas, and the next day you're like, well, I'm in LA, and I'm like, to me, geography wise, I don't get geography. So to me, you travel across country in a moment. You know what I mean? But you're like, God, it was. But to me, it's kind of like you actually, in the short time that we've known each other, you inspire me because I'm watching things that you're doing. And just to me, it's incredible. It's incredible just the little bit I've seen of you. So,
Oh, well,
you
thank
know,
you.
I
Well,
love it.
you know.
I became a stalker. I'm sorry. It's just me. I admit it.
It's really exciting when we step into our power, whatever that may be, and all of us have it.
Mhm.
Like yourself, I have had hard times. you know,
Yeah.
I write about them in my book too.
Yeah.
And I feel so empowered in, I guess you'd call it midlife. I'm in my early 50s, and
Mhm.
I am excited to be in this space, kind of like having come out of a lot of, you know, um, I guess, self examination and, trials, and
Right.
into this kind of place where now I can help guide other people or
Mhm.
help them through the stories that I've been through. It's like you've been
Yeah.
through quite a bit, and
Right.
through your experiences and through the things that you have gone through, you've come to this calling, and now you can help other people. You can teach, you can guide, and I kind of feel like I'm in that same position.
Yeah.
And it's a really nice place to be. I would have never thought when I was younger that being middle aged would be so good.
You're not middle age. You look gorgeous, by the way. Like you're telling me you're like early 50s. I still look at you like,
You
no,
know, when I said
no.
that, I forgot I'm actually 55. I
Oh,
didn't
guys, it's like 7:30 in the morning for her, so trust me.
remember
You don't look your age and you look gorgeous. You
that.
look your age and you look gorgeous.
Yeah.
See,
Well, thank you. I don't wanna say clean living, but kind of,
yeah, I love it. I
My
love it. I got a big question. This is a question I do ask everybody. You know what? I do ask everybody this question because the show is literally how'd you get your start? How'd you get your beginning? And everybody I've spoke to so far, literally it starts, somewhere in their childhood, somewhere, maybe in their adulthood, blah, blah, blah. But very few people are born into this, into their world. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
a person that's literally born into this world. Like I've had the privilege of seeing your mom, you know what I mean? So I know the authenticity of that. And being born into this, it's yeah, you had a choice, like, oh my God, I'm just gonna go do rocket science because your woohoo stuff is too much. But you chose to enter this world and embrace it. So how is it to be born into this and just know that this is who you are from birth?
Yeah, I realize now how incredibly fortunate I was and am to have had the kind of mother that I did, who was just so amazing in so many different ways.
Right.
And when I was younger, um, my mom was always like, well, she wasn't super out. I mean, she had her clients, and there were varying times where she had a regular job, and other times where she was just doing readings. But it was a very special relationship that I had with my mother, that I always knew that she was my mentor and my teacher.
Mhm.
And I always, because we used this kind of language together, I always felt that we had past lives together, that we
Right.
had been sisters, that we had been sister priestesses, in ancient Greece and Egypt. And she would talk about things like that, to me. And
Mhm.
it was like, yes, this resonated with me. And her own journey, she shared with me, as appropriate throughout my years. Every, like, for all of my birthdays, I always got books on, astrology, or, spirit guides, or what have you. And,
Mhm.
I think that we talked about this before. When I was maybe, I think, around 11,
Mhm.
my mother met with a psychic medium who told her that her own spirit guide wanted to talk to my mother, that he was her spirit guide too. And so at that point, my mother began a process of connecting with the spirit guide. And she used, for almost 40 years, one of the things that she used to connect was the Ouija board. And
Right.
we had talked about that. Like, I
Which
grew
is
up, so I became, as soon as as soon as I got my period, I know this sounds kind of strange, but as soon as my mother figured I was, a woman,
right.
and that was 12 and a half, 13, she gave me a deck of tarot cards, and I got to use the Ouija board with her. And I
Oh,
was her partner, for many, many
right.
years on
Yeah.
that. And it was a very positive experience. So through this connection with the spirit guide, through the Ouija board,
Mhm.
um, we got a lot of messages, and they were predominantly, like, things like the nature of reality, and the spirit world, and how to be a better person, and just
Right.
helping guide us. And just this very benevolent, loving,
Mhm.
kind energy with my
Yeah.
mom's spirit guide. And I mentioned all of the journals. She would write
Mhm.
everything down, and it was always the most, like, high vibe, high level, positive experience.
Right.
Um, so I had that with my mom. It was her teaching me and guiding me. Okay, do this on your own. I was always more, my mom had this, like, connection to spirit that was like, she was like a channel, but she would get, like, these downloads. And I always had, like, a more intuitive kind of a piece. I felt things. I had precognitive dreams when I was younger. And she just encouraged it, and she would show me how to protect myself psychically, visualization techniques, affirmations. That was what a lot of what the spirit guides gave us, was affirmations, like, I am safe and well, I am one with God, stuff like that.
Right. Right. Which is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a lot of teaching, like, how to navigate that realm, especially in terms of, like, self-protection, because
Mhm.
you got to, when you're opening yourself up to spirit too, like, it isn't, you have to make sure that you've got, your boundaries, and that you're letting in, the right energy, because, as we know, we live in a dimension where there is polarity. So,
Right.
there is, sometimes there could be some shadow stuff.
Right.
But it was great, and I feel like I'm still learning from her, as we discussed.
Oh, yeah.
She recently passed, and I have all of her journals, and it's a lot, and I'm slowly going through them.
Right.
Um, yeah, I mean, it was a privilege, and I know I'm super blessed.
Well, it's amazing because, to for myself, because I grew up in a world that didn't know anything about any of this, you know what I mean? This was just, you know, dreams and this, and I was the weird one out, and my family didn't know who I was. It was just like, and you could probably talk to a few of them, and they'll either, "Oh, she was just fine," or, "Oh my god, she was batshit crazy." One or the two, you know what I mean? But it wasn't until I got older that I went, "Oh my god, this is who I am," and, and it all kinda went, "There you go." So for me to be born into that, I can't see it as being easier, but it could be easier, you know what I mean? But then it's more of a struggle. I mean, you got your positive and your negative with both, you know?
Agreed, and I didn't want to I have to say that I didn't wanna be seen as a weirdo, and neither did my mother,
Right.
I mean, she was also an electronics engineer, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Talk about polarities
she
there.
was smart. No, she was incredibly smart. She didn't love it, but there were times when she needed to, make sure that she had enough money, to support us because we grew up without our father. So,
Right.
she was raising 3 kids on her own.
Gotta do what you gotta
But
do. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, part of my practice too is I have asked spirit for the people that need that kind of guidance because I
Mhm.
am trying to pass that on. A
Right.
lot of what I do, my book, that is like I want to share what I had with other budding,
Right.
psychics and astrologers and sensitives because I feel for that. I know that there are kids that are in families where they are the oddballs out. They're
Mhm.
not their intuitions are not being recognized, their sensitivities not being recognized. And how wonderful. I mean, we live in this world that is very, for the most part, very mechanistic. The scientific paradigm is that the world is mechanistic, it is not ensouled. And that is, in my personal experience, untrue.
It
And it makes
is.
it really hard for kids growing up to be like, wow, I'm seeing and hearing things that, I'm crazy, that aren't,
Yeah.
other people aren't,
Right.
what's going on? And so, yeah, I mean, I have so much compassion for that because I'm really fortunate. I did grow up in a world like you did,
Right.
but in my own relationship with my mother and my intimate family, I was really fortunate to have
Yeah.
that
Well,
for
I
life.
know, like, for myself growing up, I didn't have that, and I struggle because I mean, I always knew answers before, the question was asked. It was always like, "You don't know everything." So I know, like, with my granddaughter now, being part of her life and her development, it's been amazing because even, like, watching my mom, who didn't know what was going on with me, who has embraced me now, which is just to me is huge. My family has embraced me, which I'm like, "Oh my," like, I don't feel odd anymore because my family embraces me and goes, "You know what? We love you," and now it makes sense, whatever it might be, so I don't feel like that outcast. But even like with my own family, my granddaughter who's 4 will talk about, how she talked to her great great grandma yesterday and I'll and sit there and she has these conversations with my mom. And I think it's truly beautiful because my mom will tell me, she's like, there's no way she knew about this, or this. And I know she's talking to my mother. I know she's talking to my mom because there's no way she could know that. And we actually embrace it. So it's like when my granddaughter says something, we don't go, "Oh my god, it's in your head, blah, you may," no, we actually stop and go, "Tell us about it. What do you know?" You know what I mean? We moved to this dynamic house almost 2 years ago. Well, she wasn't even, she was what, barely 2, but from the time she could talk, she was like, she told us we were moving. She kept saying, "Daddy's gonna build us a house." Really? Don't think so. And next thing you know, Daddy's building us a house. So we listen now. We give that to the children to go, "Hey, you're not abnormal. You're very gifted. You know what? Grandma's, the number one weirdo in the house, but just follow the path and it'll be fine." You know what I mean? But giving them a choice of what they're gonna be when they grow up, which is huge.
Yeah. And honoring that, like, in astrology we call it that lunar knowledge, that
Mm.
is that, they used to call it like, women's intuition or something, but it is an intuitive faculty for that men and women both have.
Right.
And we've been ignoring it, for
Mhm.
so long because
Right.
it's like we can't explain exactly how it works. So
Right.
but I love that
Right.
100%. did that with my kids as well,
Yeah.
was just listening for, talking about what, possible lives they'd had, or what's, what they could see, what spirits they could see, and just introducing that sometimes to people. Like, I have a client that something similar like that happened to her baby, her 18-month-old baby, where her baby was staring into a corner and she said, "Nana, it's Nana." And she'd never said that word before.
Yeah.
Um, and that was my client's, grandmother. And
Mhm.
she knew that her daughter was seeing her Nana.
Yeah.
And it's like having me, I was doing a reading for her, and I was just saying that like a lot of grandmother energy was coming up for her.
Mhm.
And because I also do some healings and stuff, I'm Reiki
Right.
attuned as well. And she started crying and said, "This happened to me last night. This is my daughter, blah, blah, blah." And it's like having conversations like that, like you get to have that now, I
Yeah.
mean, it's they're just so refreshing and invaluable because this is really happening. This is
Mhm.
happening to people and happening in life. And it's so incredibly invaluable because one of the main things that I think human beings want to know is, in addition to like, why am I here? Is that all there is? Is
Right.
all there is? And the answer is no. I mean, waking consciousness or waking reality is only one aspect of
Right.
life, that there are multiple dimensions of consciousness. and
Right.
and that, the soul, that we already know that
Mhm.
scientifically, that energy cannot be annihilated. We have not been
Right.
able to actually kill or destroy energy.
Energy.
Um, and it's like that to me, that's motivation.
It is.
Oh my
That's
God,
huge.
we
That's
are
huge.
soul. We are immortal soul, that the world is this incredible, mysterious, and amazing thing, that it is speaking to us,
Mhm.
movement of the planets, through signs, symbols, and synchronicities, and symbolic and archetypal ways. It is speaking to us all the time,
Right.
giving us ideas to urge us on our own journey of evolutionary awareness.
Exactly. Which is huge. I mean, it's huge. And that a lot of that, because you brought up astrology a few times, a lot of that's right there in the stars. It's right there in the planets. It's right there to tell you. You know what I mean? All you have to do is understand it, or you know what I mean, or know somebody that does understand it to figure it out. You
It's
know?
available for everyone. And in many
Yeah.
ways, astrology is and has been for thousands of years, the kind of language that allows us to interpret the gods. Originally it was like the gods are speaking to us,
Mhm.
even prior to monotheism, the gods
Right.
are speaking to us through the movement of the planets. This
Mhm.
is the language of the sky, is the language of source, and I always felt early, when I was younger, why is life so hard? Why are things so difficult? We're just sort of thrown here with consciousness without any kind of clues, but that's not true. You know,
Mhm.
do have that, through astrology, you can look at different things like what is the reflection of what I am going through at any given
Mhm.
time. Like if we're going through a hard time, I can guarantee it'll be a transit. and
Right.
and you can see when it'll begin, kind of, and you can see the general themes that you're going to have to work with, and then you're going to see when it's over. And you're
Right.
going to see things like, what are my gifts and talents, and what are some of the challenges. Many of us are born with, like, the chess
Mm.
game, in play, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a lot of different philosophies on that, but why? Like, there's clues here. And to me, it's like being able to do this work, read, it's like seeing a miracle every day,
Right.
and that is, to me, definitive proof that the universe is filled with intelligence and intent, that there is a creator, that there is source, and that it is divine, that
It's
it
huge.
seemingly benevolent, even with the inequalities and the injustice. My mom used to say, life isn't fair, but it is just.
Yeah.
However, that arc of justice is so wide, we can't see it. It might be another
Right.
life. I don't know, but
Right.
guarantee that there is that. That's been my experience, and I love it. And I
And
love the work that I do.
you know what? You and I will tell you what. And you and me only met each other really, what, 2 months ago now? I think it hasn't been long. It's been like
Thanks,
2 months.
Lori. Yeah, Lori
Thank you,
McGrath.
Lori. I know. I'll tell you what, she put us together, and it's like she doesn't even realize it's like I see years of us kind of working together on some aspect, I mean, it's like it's there, but it's like a person that, you don't have to talk to every day because 'cause you're just gonna pick up wherever you left off, and you feel like you've known them forever, you know?
Yeah,
And
there's a
it's
sister energy there, definitely.
definitely, and it's so funny because, I look over my life, and I'm using the astrology because that's actually a huge thing, and it's like I've looked over my life, I'm very much psychic medium, very much this, didn't know who I was, that feeling of not knowing who you were, blah, 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 and I've dabbled in astrology and went way too much. I'm walking out of astrology because it's a world, it's like neuroscience to me, it's just a world, and it wasn't until just before I met you that I literally went, wait a second, I need to know more about this. You know what I mean? Because I've always went, I'm an Aquarius, but I'm an Aquarius Capricorn at the time of my birth. I mean, because you could tell everybody more about that, but it's from what I've been told, it's close to the cusp. It's close to the change. But at the same time, I'm born in Scorpio Luno at the very end of it, the end of the moon. So it's like, so all that basically was like, here you go. And then all of a sudden I got introduced to you when I'm trying to put these pieces of me together and actually use an astrology and not knowing what the hell I'm doing. And then I got introduced to you and you're like, oh, and this all makes sense. And I can remember you giggling about my chart, like, this makes sense of who you are, and and like anybody that's listening, and I've talked about you before and doing the chart and stuff. And everybody, you had brought through that I have a lot going on in April. So now I look at what's going on with me now. It's like it feels like an interlude to it. And it's me sitting back going, breathe, find balance, relax, new life, chill out. It's okay. And then coming back at it, hitting again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know?
that's another, way that astrology can be so helpful because
Yeah.
again, it's reflecting what's going on, but it's also giving you a little bit of insight into what you're going to be meeting soon.
Hmm.
So it kind of gives you that, okay, deep breath. It's cool. I understand why I'm not able to, hit the ground running right at this moment because I've got this going on. And let's just wait and see. A lot of times I'll do a reading and people will say like, well, this is exactly what I've been thinking of. And this is exactly where I'm at right now. And I'm like, good, that's a good reading because it's reflecting your life, kind of, essentially telling you, what you already know so that
Right.
you can learn more to trust yourself. But it is helpful to see it, to see either like a tough time reflected in the transits, because then
Right.
we personalize it and we think, oh my gosh, so many of us think that like, with you, you might be thinking like, oh my gosh, I feel really bad. I took on too much, or maybe I'm just not capable. Don't worry about it. It's like, don't, this, everything's moving, the universe, all together turning all of the time. Everything's moving and changing and morphing. And
Mhm.
riding those waves is the key, right?
Right.
Riding the waves, figuring out who you are too.
Mhm.
You want to, look at living your best life means being authentic to yourself.
Yeah.
And, like for you were saying, like, you are a 0 degrees Aquarius,
Right.
depending on where you were living, at any given time.
Mhm.
You could be either a 29, cap or a 0 degrees Aquarius, but you are a 0 degrees Aquarius with, you've got all that Scorpio to that moon in Scorpio, and it tells a little bit. The idea here is that every planet in astrology represents a different aspect of yourself. Okay.
Mhm.
I call your personal natal chart, which is essentially a snapshot of the night sky rooted in the latitude and longitude, time and place that you were born. If you were to look up into the night sky with a
Right.
telescope on your birthday, you'd see the planets that they are in the position in your
Mhm.
astrology. And the idea is that they each have an energetic force that expresses itself in a specific way. So
Right.
it's kind of like, I like to call it your psychospiritual DNA. So
Mhm.
it's about your programming, like your
Right.
physiological DNA, is you, but it isn't you. And it's the same thing with your astrology. It's like, how do I respond? And what are some of the things that I am here to do? And
Mhm.
what are my gifts and talents? And all that is there, but then you embody that,
Mhm.
and in that way you can work with it. It isn't like, I think that there's fate and fortune in
Mhm.
astrology too, with fortune being self-determinism.
Right. And I think it's amazing. I really do. I mean, uh, I wasn't a person that would say, "Go get your natal chart or your astrology book." I wouldn't you never would have heard that out of my mouth before I met you.
Yeah.
Seriously, you would have never heard me say, not that I didn't believe in it, but because I was a horoscope reader, you know what I mean? So it's like, and I like to read the horoscope. I mean, I read it during the day and I go, whatever. Read it at night, probably make more sense to you than if you read it first thing in the morning, you know what I mean? But after meeting you and you doing my chart, I went, "Oh my god, it makes so much sense." And not even just the fortune of what possibly be coming at me, it's me and my past that went, "Oh my gosh, this puts so many pieces together." Like, I wanted to I was thinking about making, like, a transcript of it and giving it to every one of my family members and saying, "See, I'm normal, I'm just me." You know what I mean? And I
Yeah,
think it's
it's not my
something
fault,
it's not my fault.
We're on transit.
You know, it's just me. I'm sorry. You know, and it's beautiful. It's such a beautiful art form, and I'm looking at it as an art, like it's such a beautiful resource. You know, it's amazing what you do and that understanding of it. You know, so
It's
to
a
me,
science and an art for sure, and you do
yeah,
not need to be, an intuitive to be an astrologer. You can study it, but it makes it ease
yeah,
better because it becomes kind of like a crystal ball for me because like certain symbols will just like rise up and then I'll get an image and
yeah.
so I use it as a tool, that is both, I guess, like literal and intellectual, obviously, um,
Mhm.
but also intuitive.
I love that. I love that. Well, we talked about 2 lucky listeners that you did a little bit of a chart for them. So
Yeah.
I think Brenda's with us right now. So let's bring Brenda Brent up. And if Brenda actually is at work and listens every week. I don't know how she does it. I think she might be sneaking us behind her boss's back. But
I mean, I used to work in a cubicle and, typing and stuff like that, and,
yeah,
you can definitely listen to
but I told Brenda if she couldn't be
my
here right
writing.
if this was the one day she wasn't able to listen, it would definitely be in the replay and she's gonna definitely listen. So, but she says she's here. She's very, very carefully. I
Awesome.
love it.
Well, so Brenda, I have your chart and there's some big pieces there. I don't know if you're familiar with your chart at all. But of course it is all the planets and every single planet represents an energetic force. But I want to make this kind of fairly quick. So
Mhm.
that you are a very last degree Leo. So you're 29 degrees Leo sun. You have a moon in Capricorn and you have a Taurus ascendant. And so there has been, and especially over the last, gosh, I want to say like it hasn't been easy for you, over the last several years, and even last year when we had the planets Saturn and Uranus in the sky in a difficult relationship to each other. So in 2020 we had Saturn and Pluto conjunct in Capricorn. Many astrologers are talking about that as being a harbinger of COVID and the real difficulties that we had, the isolation, all of that. And in 2020, we had Saturn and Uranus in a really difficult situation. And that was kind of like really bing banging along your chart. We do have Uranus still very close to your ascendant or rising sign. And what that means is that there is going to be quite a bit of change. There has been change for you, but there is also going to be more change, yay, for you over the course of the next year and probably into the next couple years. Um, we also in astrology look at eclipses as being bringing harbingers of change too. So Uranus is about freedom from the known. It is that sort of like illumination that you get. It's downloads. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. Oh my gosh, I need to do this. This is what is happening to you and for you in the next few years, with eclipses very close to your ascendant and descendant. That is your first house, the house of your physical self, your personality, and how you act in the world, how you get what you want, and across how you act towards others in your marriages and your relationships. There's going to continue to be some new developments there. So we have that going on all year, especially in April. In April, something really special is happening. The planets Neptune and Jupiter, that both are the rulers, the planetary rulers of the sign Pisces, are conjoining for the first time in over 160 years. That is happening for you, Brenda, in your place of community. And I want you to ask yourself some questions about where you're going in your life. What are you doing? You are obviously a spiritual person and interested in spirituality. And I think that this year, and especially in the next few months, it's time for you to get a little bit more serious about where you're going and what you're going to do to use your gifts and tools into this year. This is a magical and amazing and spiritual opportunity for you to stand in community. Maybe you are going to get a show, or you
Mhm.
are ready to come out, I guess, a little bit more of wherever you felt that you have been. You're creative, you have gifts and talents. I mean, your moon is in the eighth house of psychic mediumship too. And there's probably no coincidences here that you are interested in, that you are listening right now.
Mhm.
You need to get more involved and bring your spirituality into your life in a deeper way. Maybe you're going to want to take classes with Diet. I don't know.
She's
Maybe
actually signed up for my next one.
yeah. It's time. Okay. It's
Yeah.
exciting. It's new. Look to the month of April. If you can get involved in community, if you can get out there, you can take a class, you can go to a retreat. I think that you are going to have so many profound experiences, especially around the new moon solar eclipse of April 30th, which is really super magical. Get out there and do this. This is the beginning of a new life for you that is deeply exciting and rich and filled with mystery and magic, and not every day. And you need this. It's time. It's time for you to communicate and use your voice to speak all of the things that you are experiencing too.
I love that. I was
So
looking to see what the date of the class is to see if it was April 30th, and it's not April 30th, but I'm like, "Oh my
maybe
god."
this is just, these events are like stones dropped in
Right,
water. So
right.
astrological events they have reverberations,
Mhm,
they are like when the planets get close to each other, it's like electromagnetic. Their energy is attracting, and then they poo, and then the energy comes out like that. So you have this windows,
mhm,
and this is this window
mhm.
for Brenda. And I'm really excited to see how that works out.
Oh, I'll you know what? I'll keep you updated on that because, like, my next class is actually April 2nd, but you know what?
Perfect.
By then, I'm probably gonna be doing intermediate anyway, so we'll be good. So, Brenda's like, you're nailing it." You know what I mean? It's awesome. Love
Yeah.
that.
So I don't know if Brenda has any questions about that,
Did you have any questions, Brenda?
but I think that, this is an unfolding energy. This isn't just like, okay, this is only happening on this date. This is
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I'm walking across this threshold. I'm having these experiences that I'm now going to carry into my life. And my life's going to look a lot different,
Yeah.
but it's going to be much freer. Like, cause like now I can free to be me. We've been talking about this
Yeah.
theme, like let's be our authentic selves, and whatever that looks like. Even saying,
Mhm. She says, "I've been trying to make some big decisions right now, and I can't make them, so this is very helpful." I love that.
yeah,
She was destined
make
to need
make
this.
the big decisions around um you being free. How can you be free? So when you make them, always think like, what can I do that allows me to be as free as I can, and trust in spirit, trust in your guides. Because then that will be the right answer for you.
I love that.
So,
And go ahead.
so then I have Joy,
Yeah. Yep,
and
we have Joy next. I don't know if can you put Joy's name up, Todd?
Joy is a Virgo with a moon in Aries, and we have a Libra ascendant. And we have the same kind of good morning, Joy. We
Yeah.
have the same kind of magical energy that we talked about with Brenda happening for Joy in the sixth house of health and wellness and everyday rituals and responsibilities.
Mhm.
And we want to talk about like this massive, and I want to say that with the current position of the planet Pluto, which has been in a difficult relationship to Joy's moon, there's this level of maybe not getting her own needs met, and there may have been too much sacrifice for responsibility for other people, not enough focus on joy and
Mhm.
Joy's joy. This is when you can find the magic and the miracles to start a new set of rituals and habits that work for you. So instead of taking on responsibility for other people, it's now time for you to work and put your energy on yourself. And that includes your health and wellness, that you need to make that a top priority. Not that I see anything bad with that or any issues, but that it is, and especially as we all age, it is something that you need to look at, and you need to make sure that you are continuing to, eat right and exercise and to have time. And I would suggest, if you can, start a meditation practice or a spirit practice, that you work with a teacher. Also, this is both these two are very much like, you need to work with a spiritual teacher so that you can make sure that you are doing things every single day that will provide you with the I guess the food for your soul.
Yeah.
This is a time where you can really make some inroads, and I think that that is true for your relationships. I definitely see things easing up. Pluto is moving away from being really close to your moon, and that will be super helpful. Also, like I mentioned earlier, the Saturn Uranus difficult relationship between those two planets, which is like constriction and then the desire to break free, that was also beaming into some important parts of your astrology. And Uranus especially was squaring your Uranus. So there's like this part of you that does want to be free. Like, you do kind of like you do want to get into spiritual community. You do want to get involved in this. You also have gifts.
Yes.
Um, and,
Yeah.
and, you need to work on this like
Mhm.
now. Now is the time. You have these gifts. You've got Sun, Mercury, and the North Node of your moon in your 12th house. That is the house of the spirits. So it's like, I'm sure you're a dreamer. I'm sure that you have a lot of intuitive, precognitive experiences. Work on that. Work on that in this time, because this will actually help your wellness. Both from a mental health standpoint, an emotional health standpoint, and a physical health standpoint. It's like, it's so interesting because true wellness is mind, body, spirit.
Mhm.
It can never just be body.
Yep.
It is all of that. And so at any age we can feel revitalized by our connection with source, by continuing to allow ourselves to unfold our own higher self and guides to talk to us and us to listen.
Yeah.
Wow, I mean, yeah, Joy, you've got so much of exciting stuff ahead of you. So make a commitment for your spiritual practice, a meditation practice. Being silent and still is when you can hear that voice. And I think that this event is happening in April, and then it kind of it happens, but it's like the stone in the water. It ripples out. It's going to separate a little bit. And then we'll have Jupiter. And next year, Joy, you're going to have Jupiter in your seventh house of partnerships, one on one relationships. And then in 2023, it's going to conjoin with your moon. So everything that you do this year along these lines is going to make you happier and your relationships happier, and how you relate to all of the people that you love one on one happier in 2023. So work on this now, and it'll just continue to unfold into, just again, like a happier and more revitalized life.
I love that. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like those the big thing for 2022 really astrologically,
Mhm.
because every time period has like what we call like a zeitgeist, right? That's an
Right.
idea for like what is the energy of the time, what is the
Mhm.
quality of the time. And I mentioned earlier 2020, I did a workshop in 2019 getting ready for 2020.
Right.
You're welcome, Joy. And 2021 was just like this, like push, pull, back and forth, mask on,
Mhm.
mask off. What are we gonna do? And this is happening like as many huge structures, including
Mhm.
governments and finances, since 2008 with Pluto and Capricorn have been in the process of being transformed and are going to continue to be. This year, Neptune conjoined with Jupiter. This is a very magical thing. It hasn't happened. Neptune conjoined with Jupiter um, happens every 14 years, but it has been 160 years since it's happened in the signs that it rules Pisces. And I think that I said something earlier, but
No, yeah.
um, the last time it happened was 1856, and that was the height of spiritualism. That was
I
like
was
the beginning. It was
spiritualism released during 1852. So, yeah, that's huge.
and I know I have seen over the course of the last few years, the metaphysics, and whether it's astrology or tarot or spiritualism, and the idea of all of this come up and out, and it's become mainstream again, and so who knows, where that's going to go. I think that that it's going to be more and more incorporated, and it's going to become more and more popular.
Right. I should correct myself. 1852 is when about the time of the first demonstration of spiritualism or of mediumship. And
Yeah, I think it was
shortly after that was spirituality.
1847 to
Yeah. Well,
1862, but certainly in 1856 and
right.
in and around that time, because remember the planetary energies are like magnets. So there's like this pull for a long
Mhm.
time, and then there's always a window, especially for outer planets.
And I'll tell you, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but and it goes spirituality along with mediumship. But the first mediumship demonstration was actually in Hydesville, New York, and I think it was 1852, with the Fox sisters. But right down the road, like an hour, I think it's south. Geography is not my thing, but Lilydale, New York, is the first technical spiritual camp ever, and it's still the world's largest one. I mean, but think about the polarity of that time frame, but literally how close those two events are. You know what I mean? They're just so close.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, everybody was doing it.
yeah,
I mean, Abraham Lincoln and Mary Todd Lincoln were having seances in the White House,
yeah,
talk to their
exactly.
son. I mean, it was funny because on my podcast I was talking about, well, what's going to be the manifestation of this, this year.
Yeah.
And it's like that there is magic in the universe, whether you want to think of it as like, our souls live on after our bodies are cast off,
Mhm.
or there's intelligent life in the universe via aliens. I don't know. I mean, there is a lot going on, and I think that we are all going to have some really interesting epiphanies this year. Also, that we are compassionately connected to all that is. Nature is also a part of God. Animals are a part of God. Plants are a part of God. And that kind of idea also, that we're all connected, and compassion.
Mhm.
At the same time, spiritualism was rising up too, was the abolitionist movement. People were, fighting against slavery. What are we going to do together? Like, what can we all do together to create a better world? Everything matters. And I think that is coming. That hashtag we're all in this together. That's coming for this year too. So I'm excited to see how it all shapes up.
I am too. I can't even tell you. Like, I like I told you when we met, I'd followed more with numerology than I did astrology, and even numbers got to be too much. I give that to the masters of numbers. Like they are rocket stars. Um, but like I told you, like when you brought through mine, you're like, these are my years. This is my time. I'm like, oh my God, numerology said I've been waiting like 30 years for this pinnacle of my life. Like I just had to dredge through the muck up until my 50s. You know what I mean? And when 50 didn't happen, I'm like, wait a second, I'm in the pinnacle of it. It's like, you still have another year to go, But I think it's amazing because I do feel I feel you're 110% correct because I know from my standpoint, when I'm looking at the energy psychic aspect of it, I'm seeing a lot of those changes, a lot of that growth with people, a lot of opening up, a lot of awakening, a lot of more
Yeah,
acceptance.
a lot.
It's huge. It's huge to see the difference and how people I cannot tell you. It's like, as you already knew, I've gone back to all these events, and I've got like events all over America now. So it's not just Wisconsin.
Yay!
I'm everywhere from the east to the west. I'm like everywhere, and but as I sit down at an event, I'm getting more and more people that have never had that reading. They've never had that experience, and I'll tell you what, they're rock stars at being sitters because they all sit there like this. I got nothing. I mean, I got brick walls. I'm looking at as I'm going da 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 da. You know what I mean? And then they're done, and they're like, "Oh my god, that experience! It opened up their world because they are coming to me with flat face, flat, no affect, no nothing, and watching them open up at the end to go, wow, I didn't even know this world existed. And they're doing it, left and right. Everywhere I go, people are just opening up to us or
Yeah.
the energies.
This is it's wonderful because this is such a fertile time, and
Hmm.
it hopefully, the I guess my mom used to call it the GP, the general public,
Good
Hopefully
munitions.
hopefully the GP will be able to incorporate some of this magic into their own worldview, into the collective consciousness, and realize that, wow, we are living with spirit. This is a magical universe. I do have some, creative magical power in it. And spirit is talking to me. I'm not alone. I'm connected always.
Hmm.
And what a different world that could be if we all had that.
It's so magical. It is so magical. Before I let you go, I really want to touch on April. April. I know we talked about before, and I thought, no, I'm not going to bring up April. You know what I mean? But April has come up a lot now. You know what I mean? So it's like I can't ignore that April is there. For a general, what is going on with April? I mean,
Well, like I said, April is when we have that exact, Jupiter Neptune conjunction. It's April 12th.
okay.
But it is in what we call it in orb for months afterwards. And then it kind of moves because the planets are always moving. And then it kind of separates a little bit over the summer. And then it comes back again in October,
Okay.
November of this year. That is that Jupiter moves very quickly through Pisces into Aries in May. And then it is going to be from 0 to about 8 degrees Aries, and then it will retrograde. All the planets do something called retrograde, which is really an optical illusion, but essentially having to do with the Earth's orbit and the other planet's orbit. It looks like they're moving backwards, and so they kind of stop and stall and switch. And so Jupiter has a one year orbit around the sun, 12 months. So there's going to be this energy in April that's really profound. It's the dropping of the ripple. And not only are we going to have this April 12th event, so look a week before, 2 weeks later, April 30th, we have an eclipse. And eclipses in astrology are really important. They're like energetic resets. It's kind of like pushing like your computer on and off, or like resetting your modem.
Okay.
Something comes up, like say you've downloaded a program, when you reset it, now the program's installed, right?
Right.
Things end and new things begin. Sometimes people leave the earth around eclipses. You will find that all the time. They're like these portals. It's a portal time period.
Right.
The new moon solar eclipse in Taurus at 10 degrees is April 30th. At that time, we will also have a lineup of planets in Pisces, including Jupiter, Neptune, and Venus. This is big. It's beautiful. It's a new start. I think that it's going to be really interesting. And so April is going to be a month, I think, of profound, it could be profound, movement, change, miracles, downloads, realizations, spiritual experiences, opportunities, opportunities for you to move your business
Mhm.
forward, especially spiritual work, uh, creative work. It's going to be interesting. I don't know how it's going to manifest. I think I'm just sitting back and like watching the show. I'm like,
Right.
wow.
It's amazing because I know, like, for myself, I had nothing on the books for April, and my books are full for April. I think I got 1 weekend off, and I'm like, "Why do I have this weekend off? I don't get why I have this weekend off, but I know something has got to be slotted in there."
Yeah, I was going
You
to
know
say,
what I mean?
what weekend is it?
What you that's why I keep looking at my calendar. Like, every time you say
Whatever
something,
it is, do something. Whether it's, I mean, you already have a weekly show, but maybe you want to do something
it's
bigger,
it's literally the 16th and 17th. It's the weekend right in the
right
middle of
in
April.
between. Yeah, I mean,
And I had something actually planned to teach there, and they were like, "We can't do it that weekend. Sorry, we're getting our floors done." I'm like, "Really? Like, in the 30 some years you've been open, now you're getting your floors done?" So it literally, and I'm like, and everything I've tried to schedule there gets, "Nope, can't do it that weekend, can't do it that weekend." So
something's going to happen. I feel like you need to give a talk on spirit. You need to give, you know, on the messages that you're getting, and
oh, that's
that's what I think, like something big,
okay. Definitely can do that. You know what I
because
mean?
I'm just saying, like, I feel like we're all going to get this sort of, I mean, we are all going to get this beaming of energy. What it looks like,
Mhm.
it is different for everybody, but because you're already, a psychic medium and have the connection to spirit, I think it's just going to be fivefold.
Okay.
Something's going to happen for you that is going to widen that channel, and maybe you're going to get like a lot of messages. Maybe there's some big picture messages that need to come to the earth or to people in general.
Mm.
I think it could be something really big like that. I don't think small about this. This is as it's as big as it gets, I think,
That's what I keep looking at, and I energetically can't even say how right I know you are. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's going to be a weekend. I stay in my bed and just put the covers over my head.
I mean, you do need a break, but it's not the time to take it. This is the time to just be like, okay, use me, spirit. Let me do whatever I can to get this energy out to people.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to take your advice on that because I think it could be huge. I really do. So how can people find you? I mean, I want the world to find you. Don't even know. I want the world to find you because you are just a gem. You really are.
Well, so are you. I'm so glad to meet you. It's very supportive and loving relationship and
It
exciting
it
too.
is. It is so it's just and it's funny because I think we met at just busy times in our lives. You know what I mean? So it's like connect here, connect there for 5 minutes, 5 minutes. But you know what? Eventually we'll be old and gray and talk about the times it was just 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's really nice to when you're a reader, it's like really nice to have another reader to in your life, to talk to stuff about and to read for each other, which
Yeah.
is what we've done, which
Yes.
is really very supportive. So I
Yes.
have a website. It's persephoneprogram.com.
Mhm.
Persephone is, the goddess Persephone program.com. You can also just Google my name, Michelle Prentiss, astrology, and lots of different ways to listen to my podcast or book with me if you want online. I also have a book,
Love your
Shameless
book. Yeah, well, I see the book. There you go. This book is amazing, guys.
Capricorn Rising. It is a book about my life, but also teaches you astrology. So, and if you buy the book and you don't have your chart and you want it, I'm happy to just send your chart to you. And you can look at it and read the book and learn about astrology and read stories of my life. And I talk about, my childhood with my mom and the spirit guides and lots of other stuff. It's not for children. There's some heavy duty stuff in there, but it's got good reviews. You can get it on Amazon. You can also just click on my website and get it too. So yeah, persephoneprogram.com. And I do readings and I teach classes. If you're interested in astrology, reach out.
So how did you pick I can't even say the name.
Persephone.
Thank you. I'm
So
like, I got spirit talking in one ear. Whenever they start talking, I can't talk. You know what I mean? So how did you pick that particular goddess or demigod?
So, well, Persephone's myth,
Mhm,
the beautiful young girl who is abducted by Hades, the god of the underworld, and taken underground, and then turned into the queen of the underworld, a psychopomp who's
mhm,
done in myth in the Greco-Roman tradition. She was very highly lauded in her position,
mhm.
is a kind of an initiation, through darkness. And sometimes some of us, that are in this position, have had that. I have had that. I see myself as Persephone, or a Persephone like character. I certainly did when I was younger too.
Right.
And it just really called to me because part of my practice is working with people that have been through trauma.
Mhm.
I really understand that, and whatever that may be, abuse, um, trauma in many different ways, whether it's sexual trauma or whatever. And I want to show people how to walk through the valley of the shadow of death and come out the other side into their own, serenity. And that's why.
I was wondering because I'm like, I was a huge, and I not so much anymore, but I was a huge follower and interest of Greek gods or, in mythology.
Me
And
too.
isn't she actually born to her mother is actually like better, better layman terms like Mother Nature?
Mother Nature, yeah.
Let's put it in layman terms. I want to just put it in layman terms. Mother
Layman
Nature is her
terms, yeah,
mom.
Mother Nature, like, literally, the commercials that we used to see, like, on
Yeah.
TV, like, Mother Nature, like a butter commercial or something like that.
That was her
But, like,
mom. Yeah.
Orlin yeah, her mother was Demeter,
Yep.
Ceres,
Yep.
so, yeah, the queen of the mother, and there's a whole beautiful story about mothers and daughters, in this myth, and
Mhm.
one of the big mysteries, initiatory mysteries that people went through back in the Hellenistic days, and, of course, our modern astrology is very tied into
Yeah.
to Greece, and it really came from Hellenistic Greece.
Yeah.
Um, was the mystery of Persephone's, and they called it the Eleusinian mysteries, was
Hmm.
Persephone's abduction, Demeter's withholding of prosperity in the land, because after she got kidnapped by her uncle, Demeter,
Mommy
her
threw a
mother,
fit.
she held back. This is like a sort of a myth to describe the season. She held back the sun, and all growing things stopped growing until
Right.
the mother got her daughter back. So there's a big archetypal myth here,
Hmm.
and it's very specific to women for
Yes.
sure.
It
Um,
is, and
to
if
all
people would look back on it, it's like compromise and it's ebony because I can't say her name. Oh my god, I literally cannot say the name. It's messed up. She was like 50 year what, 6 half the year underground, half the year with her mom. I mean, there's just so much when you look at the story and the mythology of it. It's just it's beautiful. It's beautiful, but I to me it represents that continuation of you know what, you can have this beautiful light, but you will always go back to that point of healing. And you get healed, you get through a period, you come back to light and you go back and forth and back and
Yeah.
forth. It's
Right,
just
and it's like finding light in the darkness
yeah,
too.
yeah,
There was another goddess named Hecate who was a goddess. She was a liminal goddess. She could move underworld and other upper world. Not all of them could.
right.
Mercury was one, and that goddess was like her helped Persephone. She held a torch up for her so she could see her way through the underworld,
Yeah,
and just was like her,
yeah,
BFF
yeah,
support system. And that's kind of how I see myself. Is at
mhm,
first saw myself more as Persephone, and now as I've gotten older and done this work more, I'm more like Hecate, shining the light for people, looking through the darkness of their own life. But yeah, the idea here is to integrate shadow and light,
yeah,
you know, um, rest and work, all of these things into our lives. And this myth does a lot for
it
that.
does. And I wanted to just bridge on that because you know what, I want people to see your website and go, wow, that says so much. That just says so much. So
Thank you.
thank you for those extra moments on extra time minutes on that, but I really wanted people to see that this is why what this is and what it really does represent in today's times, so
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. that, you know, we all like our lives all have this tremendous purpose, all of it, you know, and also that there is room for the shadow, you know, in life. But that ultimately I think the light is always the strongest, you know, but somehow we have to integrate that in, you know, into our lives, and that polarity is there, I think, for us to be able to have free will.
I love it. I love this. Thank you so much, Michelle, for coming on today. Oh my God, I cannot wait to have you back on again. You are just such a source and such a light, and it's amazing. Thank you.
Thanks. I love it. I love talking about astrology, and I love talking to you, and I'm sending you blessings. Mwah.
Back at you, darling. Back at
We
you.
will talk soon. Have a great year and a great April, especially. But see what happens.
We definitely will. We definitely will. Thank you so much, everybody. We're going to have a quick break here with School Through Spirit. Diet Renee here, and we'll be back in a few.
Meet Nicole Strickland, one of the leading San Diego paranormal researchers. Nicole offers a gentle and humble approach to working with spirit energies. Being the founder of the San Diego Paranormal Research Society, Nicole is no stranger to the unknown. Due to Nicole's vast knowledge of the paranormal, she is widely sought after for speaking engagements on topics like Children of the Paranormal, Paranormal Investigation 101 and 102, History of Spiritualism, and more. Not only does Nicole research the afterlife, but also writes about it, and is the author of several books pertaining to the paranormal and its history. She has appeared on television shows like My Ghost Story, Travel Channel's Famously Afraid, Good Morning San Diego, and more. Have a conference or event coming up? Contact Nicole on her website, authornicolestrickland.com. That's authornicolestrickland.com.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to School Through Spirit. This is Diet Renee here on WLTKDB. I just want to acknowledge people that have been, I wasn't ignoring everybody. I was watching you. I just didn't want to stop Michelle because the information she was giving was just, oh my God, just thoroughly awesome. So Deb, thank you so much. Oh my God, her description, everything was, yeah, you're right. She's just a rock star. Pamela, very great. Yeah, Reset is awesome. Bonnie listening on YouTube. You two are amazing. Oh, thank you, Bonnie. Love it. Oh, Pamela, and she loved the show. Brenda loved it. Oh my God. Awesome. 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 Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for coming in and sharing and likes and awesome and growing everything. It's been phenomenal. I love you guys. You don't even know. So I'm kind of stopped coughing. Let's do your weekly reading here, okay? Because I kept Michelle longer, but I really wanted to keep her for hours. I really wanted to, but I didn't know for you guys would all stay for hours or not. Let Todd take a nap as he just leaves the controls going. So we're going to use, as always, Lisa Williams Intuitive Soul Oracle cards. As you know, I talked to her last week on the show. They're really trying hard to get these cards back out. You know what? It's just everybody's going to have to send a huge prayer, ask for a miracle. Let's get these cards back on the market because I love them. Just a beautiful deck. I mean, if you're a skilled reader, they're phenomenal. One already came out, guys. If you're a skilled reader, they're phenomenal. If you're a budding beginner, oh my God, they're amazing to work with. Love these cards. Love these cards. So, I mean, I love most of my cards, but I really love these cards just because they're just awesome. And I'm always looking to buy more. So if you guys see them on a shelf someplace, let me know. I'll probably go buy a pack because I do give them to people when I feel it's needed. So 4 cards today, guys. One already fell out. Let's bring up our cards for the week. And then we're going to use the clarification cards, which is the Beyond Lumera cards. We're going to use those as a clarification. Remember, those are the wordy cards. But let's start with this. We have got the home card. Let's do this home card. Can you guys see it? Boom. feeling the safe, the warmth, togetherness, relax, time to unwind. I do believe this is very true, but I'm looking at the time to unwind, guys. I feel like this time, this week for you is really, if you pick number one, and as as you know, if you pick number one card, this is your time to really relax. And it's not because we're in Wisconsin, we got snow again. It's if you're anywhere, just and that energy was in the air this morning for me. So it was like snow was coming, but I really felt like, oh, I need this. I need this time to feel safe. I feel warm, feel protected. Time to recoup, really bring myself back together before I start going ahead again. And it's not really a hibernation because I'm not at the beginning of the year, but we're really at the end of the winter time. But it felt like that energy of make a fire, get your best sweater on, grab your blanket, your cup of tea, and sit there with it. And I'm thinking if you pick number one, you were there with me on this one. And I do believe this week is your time to kind of recoup, bring it all back together before you know what, life starts to get busy. Okay. So if you pick number one, it really is about bringing yourself together. Okay. Card number two, the female card, feminine energies. Okay. Female figure in your life, mother figure. And I think with this one, it's kind of looking at yourself and giving yourself a little bit of extra love and care when I look at that feminine energy, because so many of us look at feminine as being weak. I don't believe so. I don't believe in looking at the feminine as being weak. I do feel that there's a lot of strength in that. And I do believe you're looking at the yin and yang. So if you're looking at the feminine energy, I feel like you need to start to get a balance. Okay. You might be getting a little harsh, hard on yourself, hard on people around you. Things around you might be a little harsh. Sometimes you have to bring in that feminine energy to realize that needs to be a balance and kind of go forward with that. So again, if you pick number two, we're looking at that feminine energy and the balance that you need, but bring in the softer notes because maybe you've been kind of living in the man's world. And when I say man's world, I just mean one that's a little tougher, a little stricter. That's all. Okay. Number two or number three. Sorry, number three. We're looking at health, guys. Health. Health matters. The diet, the exercise, giving the body all that it needs. Okay. And I love this because God, do you think the cards are telling us something today? So when we're looking at the health card, again, a balance, balance. Look at even our hair, half blonde, half brunette. You know what I mean? Balance. Your body needs everything. Your health needs everything. It does need a better diet. It does need better exercise. It does need more spirit. It needs more soul. It is body, mind, and spirit, body, mind, and soul. So make sure you're feeding all of that. And I think if you pick number three, that's what you're looking at. What in your life is missing, and what do you have to do to bring in balance for yourself? Okay. God, balance, balance, balance. Take care of yourself. And number four is the deception card. It is untruth, deceiving self and others, not accepting or looking at the reality. Okay. And I'm really thinking the deception card number four is more like not looking at the reality of self. Okay. At looking at your reality of self. Are you a person that go, 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 never thinking I need to take a break, I need to take time, I need a moment? Or are you a person that really goes, you know what? I need to sit back. If you pick number four, I think you really need to take a time to really take a healthy look at yourself and what you need and what you need to move forward. I really think that's more of what we're looking at than anything. And I do believe that's where we're going with this deception card. I do believe you need to take a better look at yourself, guys. Okay. So number one was the home card, feeling safe, feeling time to unwind, time to relax, time to take care of yourself. Feminine was really looking at those balancing energies, bringing in that softer energy to kind of help balance out the harder energies. Number three is the health card, looking at body, mind, and spirit, guys. All of them. You need them all, not just one. And number four was the deception card. So what are you not telling yourself the truth on? What are you really not looking at yourself, in full honesty with? Okay. I guess there we go. There we go. When it falls out, it looks at me. Isn't this? Um, I got a few. So I'm gonna read the first one and we're just gonna kind of tap on the other one. So home card is what came out, the home card. Okay. So I'm gonna read it for you. Our home to the oneness and the truest part of our infinite selves is to know ourselves beyond the socialized matrix of mind, constructed reality. When all sense of flighty Flighty, survival drops away. A deep sigh radiates from the safe place within, where you can ground dreams into realities. Deep hearted based presence is a direct portal home. Align with your temple space. You have dreams, visions, and may yearn for etheric realms. But it is when we are fully present in our bodies that we can actualize the ideas and make a difference. Be grounded. Find your home. The deeper our roots, the higher we reach into the heavens. That's rockstar awesome. And yes, we can put that with every single card. Now, the other cards that popped out, I'm not going to read them all, but you know what? Let's talk about them a little bit. The first one was She of the Lotus. I feel like this one was more about me, but it might, let's read it because you know what? We got a few minutes. She of the Lotus, if there is a way to fast track growth, it is by being real with the shadowy or unloved parts of ourselves. Shadows can be painful or tender to touch. Sensitivity can be the trigger that shows us where we might want to spring clean some of our darker, forgotten, ignored, or hidden corners. Accepting our shadows is the first stage in restoring ourselves to wholeness. In self love, peel back the layers where there is shame, guilt, or fear and bring them into the daylight. Under a loving and compassionate light, they will resolve and reassimilate, reminding us that on the flip side of the coin, these are our superpowers. Pretty amazing, guys. Pretty amazing. The other ones were just radical expansion. I don't think I need to really discuss that one. And the soul star chakra, meaning merging with the divine, which is really, again, the soul, bring the body, mind, and soul together. So it's kind of funny how, what we had the original cards, but four, and then it gave me four cards also of the clarification, which is, I think, just amazing. It's amazing. I'm going to actually put these four, the last four on my website or on my Facebook page, guys, for you guys to see and kind of see more of. And it gives you a reason to go to Aunt Renee's Psychic Medium and just kind of look at it, say hi, like it if you want. You know what I mean? Um, Make sure you send those likes and the hearts and everything else out, guys. I mean, if you like today's show, I want to see heart, 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 hearts. You know what? I want to see if you want more. Tell me what you want more of. Okay. I need to hear from you. With that being said, let's kind of talk. I hope you like today's show. It's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about what is coming up in the shows because as you know, we got some major shows going on. As you know, I always got to bring up my little cheat sheet, which I should just print out, but I'm just not good at printing things out some days, am I? I need to make that on part of my list. So today, as you know, 9 a.m. is School Through Spirit with me. Tonight, we have Christina Bloom with Be the Change. Tomorrow, we got New Bridge Radio on at 7, and that's Kevin Mackey. At 10 p.m., Pete Orbea is Paranormal Pete's show. Wednesdays, 1 p.m. Well, let's take that back. 3 p.m. Central Standard Time is Kelly Brickles, the Psychic Hour. This week, guys, I'm her guest this week. So make sure you're tuned in. You know Kelly, she's my numerologist on my show. She's created her own show, The Psychic Hour. You need to go check her out. Again, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. 8 p.m. on Wednesday evenings is Missy Hart and Nicole Ford, and that is Over the Target. On to Thursday, 7 p.m. is Realm of Darkness, and that is a reality crime-based show, super amazing show, and that's Rennie and Ashley. 8 p.m. that same evening is Afterlife Chronicles with Nicole Strickland. And then Friday night is 8 p.m. with Secrets Within with Rennie Rodriguez. Again, guys, amazing, amazing shows. If you want your own show, if you have that voice, aka Deb, if you're still listening, please reach out to Todd. I'll tell you what, reaching people, helping with the awakening, helping with everything. If you don't think you have a voice, trust me, you do. And it's time for you to use it. It is really just time for you to use your voice and go forward with that. And as Todd has told you, hey, if you mention my name, I'm going to take a picture of these cards, by the way. I mean, like I told you, I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to put it on there. If you mention my name, Todd has said he will give you a discount, first month discount. What do you think about that, guys? What do you think? He's going to give you a first month discount if you mention my name. So you need to mention my name, say Diet sent you, and he will give you a first month discount to get that created. And trust me, you could do this because you know what? Todd makes it amazing to happen and just it's awesome. He makes it very easy. So please do yourself a favor. Click on I'm like all the effects. What is this with all the effects? I've never seen all these effects before. We're gonna just do that one because it looks fun. Um, but go to the site WLTKDB. I was spending too much time posting. But please go to the site, click on if you want to show. He is going to be more than happy to help you with this, start you on this journey. It's magical. It's awesome. Okay. But thank you, everybody. Oh, and next week I have got Chat with Charlie coming on. Charlie, oh my God, we had her on like a year ago. She's coming on again. It's a different type of show, guys. So I won't be doing the weekly reading next week. Charlie's going to. Why? Because I'm driving back from Columbus, Ohio. I will be much farther than Columbus, Ohio, but I'm doing the show from the road, like in transit from the road. So you're going to see my face looking forward, not looking at you. I won't be looking at comments next week, guys. I won't be looking at any of that. I'm just going to be talking, 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 saying hi to you guys in general. Charlie's going to come on. I'm going to let Charlie look at the comment. She's amazing. She's one of my certified psychic mediums. She's a rock star. She's turned into one of my best friends. I love her dearly, and I trust her just with everything. So I'm going to let her run the show as I'm doing the chatting. On that note, I'll see you next week. This has been Diet Renee on School Through Spirit with WLTKDB.com.